Okay, let's talk about something that affects literally all of us, our passwords. We're going to dive deep into the constant battle that's happening over our digital identities. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. You know, this might sound a little dramatic, but it's not just a cool phrase. It's the reality of our digital lives. Every single time you log in, you're making a move in this huge ongoing conflict. And really, understanding this arms race is your best first line of defense. So, we hear about data breaches in the news all the time, right? But have you ever really stopped to think about what actually happens to your password when a company gets hacked? It's not like they just find a simple text file with your password in it. Oh no, the reality is way more technical, and honestly, it's pretty fascinating. So, let's pull back that curtain. And that brings us to the core idea here. This constant back and forth, this one-upmanship between the good guys and the bad guys. The best way to think about it is as an arms race. And this right here, this is basically the battlefield. On one side, you've got the defenders, right? They're using stronger ways to scramble passwords. We call that hashing and things like multi-factor authentication. But then the attackers counter. They come back with super advanced cracking tools, harnessing the insane power of modern graphics cards and cloud computing. And that zero trust thing, that's a huge defensive mindset now. It basically means trust nothing, verify everything. Assume every request could be hostile until you prove it's not. Okay, so when a breach happens, what are the attackers really going after? Well, here's the twist. It's usually not your password directly. It's something called a password hash. Okay, what on earth a hash? Think of it like making a smoothie. You take all your ingredients, that's your password, and you throw them in a blender. What comes out is the smoothie, and that's the hash. Now, here's the key part. You can never take that smoothie and perfectly separate it back into the original banana, strawberries, and yogurt. It's a one-way street. And that's exactly why attackers can't just decrypt passwords. They have to crack them. And, just like there are a million different smoothie recipes, there are also different ways to make a hash, different algorithms. So an attacker needs to figure out which recipe was used before they can even start their attack. And here's a really interesting detail. Some of the newer, stronger algorithms, like SHA-256, are actually designed to be slower on purpose. Why? Because it makes it way, way harder for a hacker to do that rapid-fire guessing thing that they do. This right here shows you exactly what I'm talking about. On the left, that's the password you actually type in. But on the right, that long, jumbled-up string of characters is what the company actually stores. So when hackers break in and steal a database, this is what they get. Millions of these things. Their whole job then becomes finding the original password that creates that exact specific hash. So the big question is, how do they actually do that? Well, let's take a look at the main weapon in this fight, one that's actually used by both the attackers and the defenders. And that tool is called Hashcat. This thing is an absolute beast. It's an incredibly powerful tool that can guess and check millions, sometimes even billions of passwords every single second against a list of stolen hashes. Now, it's not all bad. The good guys, the ethical hackers, use it too. They use it to find weak passwords in a system before the criminals can. The whole process, when you break it down, is surprisingly simple. Step 1, you get your hands on that file of stolen hashes. Step 2, you find a massive dictionary of potential passwords. This is called a word list. And step 3, you basically just point a tool like Hashcat at both of those files, press go, and it just chugs away hashing every single password in your word list to see if it can find a match. Really, it all comes down to a game of speed and brute force. And with the kind of technology we have today, for common, simple passwords, that game can be over in the blink of an eye. And here's the proof. These are real passwords that were cracked almost instantly during a demonstration. I mean, awful password 123, okay, that's obviously terrible. But what about the other one, Stranger Things 2026? That feels a little more clever, right? It uses a trick we all use. Take something you can remember, a pop culture reference, and stick a number on the end. But here's the thing. That predictability is exactly what this software is built to look for and exploit. So what makes these attacks just so mind-bogglingly fast? Well, it really boils down to two key things: scale and raw power. Okay, first up, let's talk scale. The word lists that attackers use are just enormous. Take the famous Rocky list, for example. It's got over 14 million real-world passwords that were leaked from an old data breach. And that's just one list. There are tons of them. These lists give hackers a huge head start because they're packed with the most common passwords and patterns that real people actually use day in and day out.
And the second factor? Power. Pure, unadulterated computing power. It turns out those high-performance graphics cards, the GPUs that make our video games look so amazing, are also perfect for password cracking. They're built to do millions of simple, repetitive calculations all at once. So you combine that with basically unlimited computing power from the cloud, and, well, a crack that might have taken days or weeks a few years ago can now be done in minutes.
All right, now we get to the most important part of all of this. How do you actually defend yourself? Because really, understanding the attack is the first step to building a strong defense. So all that old advice, the stuff you see on the left about making a short, complex password, that's officially outdated. It's just not enough anymore. The future of security is all about two things: length and layers. A long, memorable passphrase is just exponentially harder for a computer to guess. And look, since nobody can remember dozens of super long passphrases, using a password manager isn't just a good idea anymore. It's pretty much essential. And looking even further ahead, the real game changer is moving to a password-less future, using things like your fingerprint, your face, and other secure authenticators. So, when you step back and look at it, cybersecurity isn't some one-time fix. It's a constant, ongoing battle of adaptation. As the attacker's tools get better, our defenses have to get better too. So that question you see on the screen, it's not just for show. I want you to really think about it. Look at your own passwords. Are they actually a defense, or are they just a little puzzle waiting for a fast enough machine to solve? It's really time for all of us to rethink our habits, because in this arms race, being vigilant is our absolute greatest weapon. Thanks for joining me.